James Charles took part in a TikTok trend and people are calling him out for it. Before I get into the story, I just want to put out a disclaimer. Please do not send any hate to James Charles, Corinna Kopp, Danielle Kahn, Avani, Charli D'Amelio, Chase Hudson, Tana Mongeau, or anyone else involved in this story. This video is simply meant to report on the news and give some insight on the situation. There's a new trend on TikTok known as the mugshot trend, where people on the app use makeup to create fake mugshot looks. Most users try to look deliberately rough, with runny mascara, messy hair, smudged eyeliner and eyeshadow, or fake injuries. Several of the TikToks use the song Old Yeller by Joji, which includes the lyrics, "Take me out to the back of the shed, in the back of the head." Many celebrities hopped on the trend, including Avani, Corinna Kopp, Chase Hudson, Tana Mongeau, and Danielle Kahn. Tana also posted her real mugshot from when she was arrested at Coachella in 2017. Charli D'Amelio also participated, but she did not do the makeup look. Instead, she posted photos of herself as Judge Judy. One of the most prominent influencers to participate was James Charles. While his Instagram caption said mugshot, his Twitter post had no caption. Many influencers left positive comments on his Instagram post, including My Life as Eva and Logan Paul. However, many of the comments from his fans were negative. Several fans said the photos glamorized the You know what's not cute? Doing up your makeup like this and triggering a lot of people who suffer from PTSD. This isn't a super cute trend you and everyone else should be getting behind, much less participating in. Completely distasteful. Disappointed but not surprised. Imagine thinking being is a makeup look. Others shared their own experiences. Hey, this is clever and everything, but can we maybe have a trigger warning next time? I'd rather not see somebody glamorizing what myself and so many others are trying by. You know, I had to have 2 nose surgeries due to my nose is still crooked. I'm reminded of those moments every day. This is not a subject matter to take lightly. You should know better. You need to apologize to everyone. This is triggering and offensive. Shame on you. I spent 7 years waking up fearful I would be too loud, not making his breakfast right, laying out the wrong clothing, smile the wrong way. You're making light of men and women locked in with their not okay at all. For context, there's been an increase in calls to hotlines around the world due to virus-related lockdown. There's also been spikes in police cases related to violence. For example, French police have reported a 30% spike in cases. Christophe Castaner, the French interior minister, said the risk increases due to confinement. However, there were people who defended James. Or he's following a trend where they get into a bar and get arrested. Not everything is about you. Imagine assuming SFX makeup for a trend is taking the piss out of but he's not making out like he's been. It's a mugshot. He's clearly making out that he's been arrested for. How do you deal with any TV show or movie with violence in it? But someone pointed out James's privilege. Don't you think pretending to be arrested speaks of privilege? Think about all the people who have been arrested when they were in fact innocent. Think about those who have had their lives ruined by a mugshot. Depicting it in TV movie is not the same as making it a glamour thing. One person wrote, "I don't understand why this would be a trend. I love James, but it's not fun having your face bruised and not being able to cover them up. Maybe I'm being too sensitive, but this made me feel really uncomfortable because I couldn't take mine off. It made me feel so dehumanized." James replied, "Hi babe, I'm so sorry that you went through something so awful. It's a TikTok trend going around where people post their mugshots and has nothing to do with the whatsoever. Love you." James also responded to the controversy in a series of now deleted tweets. "Only I could lazily smudge on some purple eyeshadow and fake blood to recreate a dumb TikTok trend and have it twisted into an actual scandal, lol. Genuine question, The Weeknd's new album shows him with a broken nose and with bruises, yet I haven't seen a single tweet about him glorifying violence or. Can someone please explain how it's any different? I'm really trying to understand. Love both of these artists so much. I'm just actually asking a question to have an open discussion." James later tweeted another response, which is currently not deleted. "Despite the fact that hundreds of other influencers and artists have done something similar, I deleted the mugshot trend because it was never my intention to trigger anyone, and it's a waste of time trying to have an open discussion with people who hate me regardless." A few people replied to this tweet, explaining why they took offense to James's photos. Okay, but James, understand that The Weeknd did it for an album, and you did it for a trend. All we're saying is Abel and Billy both are depicting a story. You had no context but a fake mugshot for some likes and retweets. I think this whole trend is tasteless regardless of intent. Just because something is trending doesn't mean you need to take part in it. You have millions of young, impressionable followers. This clearly wasn't, oh fun lol, let's do the trend. The implications, sis. Think before posting. Aside from the criticism for James's look, many were disappointed in how people presented a certain aesthetic when representing a mugshot. Mugshots doesn't define that you are and covered with bruises and blood. Romanticizing violence is not an aesthetic concept. You can tell those doing the mugshot look have never actually had to have a mugshot out there in the world forever. Here's the real mugshot look. No cuteness, no roughed up slay, no challenges or trends, no sexiness about it. Just consequence, shame, and embarrassment. You can prove you're hot in a way that doesn't trivialize violence, crime, and essentially the entire arrest process. Yikes. That seems to be the end of the situation for now. So, what's the big issue? The reality of domestic violence, DV, and why the TikTok trend could be seen as insensitive. Before we go any further, it's important to understand the reality of DV in the United States. Here are some statistics from the National Coalition Against DV. On average, nearly 20 people per minute are by an intimate partner in the United States. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience severe intimate partner contact and/or intimate partner stalking, with impacts such as injury, fearfulness, post-traumatic stress disorder, use of victim services, contraction of sexually transmitted diseases, etc. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men have been victims of severe by an intimate partner in their lifetime. There's also startling statistics regarding teens and young adults, the core audience who is either doing the trend or seeing influencers participate. In a nationwide survey, 9.4% of high school students report being physically hurt on purpose by their boyfriend or girlfriend in the 12 months prior. Nearly 1 in 3, 29%, of college women say they have been in an abusive dating relationship. More than half, 57%, of college students who report experiencing dating violence and abuse said it occurred in college. This mugshot trend could also be triggering to survivors because of the lack of support through the justice system. According to the law office of Robert Tyack, most DV cases do not go to trial. Dr. Sherry Hamby, research professor of psychology at Sewanee, the University of the South, identified several cracks in the legal system that can lead to perpetrators not spending any time in jail for their actions. Here's what Dr. Hamby and her team discovered from the sample group of 517 cases in their research. Roughly 1 in 4 DV cases are reported to the police. Of the cases that were reported to the police, about 1 in 5 cases were not investigated. Of the cases that were investigated, roughly 3 in 5 cases resulted in an arrest. Of the cases with an arrest, nearly 1 in 3 cases do not have charges filed. Of the cases with charges filed, less than half are convicted or plead guilty. From the original sample size of 517 cases, only 10 of those cases resulted in jail time for the perpetrator, less than 2%. Speaking about the results, Dr. Hamby said, "I do not think that all 517 of these perpetrators deserve to spend time in jail. However, I am pretty sure more than 10 did. More than a third of these cases involved some kind of physical injury, and 61 involved an injury bad enough to need medical attention. So 61 might be a good minimum starting point for how many of these offenders should have been convicted for assault." Finally, it can be triggering for DV survivors to see a photo that may resemble something they went through. In 2009, when photos of Rihanna's DV injuries were leaked, DV survivor advocates said the images could trigger flashbacks and discourage survivors from reporting. B. Hansen, the former chief programming officer at Safe Horizon in New York City, said, "For victims who see these kinds of pictures, it's all too real. They have a huge impact on women. Anything can be a trigger for victims. You can see these types of photos, and it can trigger memories. Seeing pictures like Rihanna's can certainly set a victim back in terms of recovery. Even though the people participating in the mugshot trend don't mean any harm, seeing these photos can trigger past trauma." People have mixed feelings about the mugshot trend. Some say it's easy to see why the mugshot photos are insensitive, but others may argue it's hard to anticipate everyone's triggers. It also seems like many participants wanted to test out their SFX makeup skills, but a mugshot photo may not have been the best way to do that. However, James did open up a wider conversation about how the same kind of imagery is used in other media and whether it can serve an artistic purpose. In fact, celebrity mugshots have been around way before the TikTok mugshot trend. For example, Lady Gaga created a fake mugshot for her paparazzi music video. What do you think about this story? Do you think this trend is insensitive? Let me know in the comments below.